wearing an oversized bow ties and sporting various stages of facial hair, but never a mustache. In some pictures, he looks like a riverboat gambler. In others, he appears bashful or haggard or goofy. In the 39 beardless portraits taken from 1861, he varies from looking relaxed and confident to exhausted and dreamy to slightly worried and depressed to faintly amused. Exposure times were long in the 1850s, as much as a minute, during which time it was essential for the poser to remain very still, and this lent a rigidity to most of the portraits that led many of his friends to say they looked little like him in life. The vast majority of Lincoln's photographs show him seated in a studio chair, as here at Brady's and later at Gardner's Studios in Washington. Just 20 photographs depict him standing, as here outside his house in Springfield following a Republican rally, and here indoors in Washington, D.C. These full-length studio poses required a careful setup and special concentration on the part of the poser. Lincoln was photographed a few times in profile, documenting both the left and the right sides of his face. In the best of the photographs, especially when he looked right into the camera, there is a powerful sense of presence. When a photograph was taken near the time of a pivotal event, as in this one, taken just days before the Gettysburg Address, or here, just shortly before the second inaugural, he could capture an almost spiritual quality. In some of the pictures, Lincoln's right eye, the one on the left, looks half asleep, while the left one stares wide open. Cover half the face, and each side looks like it belongs to a different person. One appearing downcast and uncertain, the other determined. A person speaking with him would, in a sense, face two Lincolns, one soft and exhausted, the other fiercely alert. Here's the picture that the face I call bashful. Look at the left side of the picture, Lincoln's right. There's little change in the photo's overall impression, but then look at the other side. It's different. Here's another one from 1859. My great-grandfather helped save this one from oblivion. Once again, the left side of the picture carries the weight, but look at the other side. It's fierce. Here's another one, left and right. And another one, left and right. Here's those last two together. I've tried this with dozens and dozens of other portraits of 19th century figures. I don't find this effect in any of them. The closest that I found, strangely, is with Booker T. Washington, who has a similar dimorphism to the face, but not as pronounced as in Lincoln. As time went by, Lincoln's face began to change in new ways. His more alert left eye began to drift upwards, leaving more white under it than on the right. This upward creeping, which modern authorities have called strabismus, grew more extreme during the presidential years. Here in this pre-Gettysburg photo, the right eye now looks calm and quiet, while the usually alert, fierce left eye looks exhausted. And yet here, a little over a year later, the old dimorphism is back, The right side of Lincoln's face is once more tired and sad. The left side is positively intense. By the time of his last months in office, one side of Lincoln's face looked his age, 56, while the other looked much older. That's, by the way, the famous cracked plate Lincoln that I described earlier, which is my favorite of them all. In our project of enlarging the Lincoln photographs to life size, there were some surprises. Some of the pictures are so small to begin with that when you enlarge them, they begin to break up. This one's from the second inaugural. His face has become grainy and ghost-like. Some of the blow-ups look much as we've often seen them, but others treated in this way are eerily new. Take these two outdoor portraits taken at the Antietam battlefield in 1862. The life-size enlargements seem eerily fresh and new. Lincoln cared about people's faces and how they used them. Once, when a man came to see him in the White House and refused to look him in the eye, Lincoln became annoyed. "What's the matter with you?" he finally blurted out. "You can't look me in the face." Faces mattered to Lincoln, and he believed he could judge character in them. Jokes about ugliness aside, he believed that the face was the window into a person's soul. And again, people who met with Lincoln one-on-one came away changed. They came away never forgetting him. There was something about him that just affected people. In 1860, Benjamin Irwin of Springfield visited Lincoln in his home, bringing with him a visiting Democrat who wished to meet the Republican candidate for president. After a period, Lincoln came downstairs to greet them, dressed in his shirt sleeves and sock feet. He would later become famous for this, appearing at the door of the White House in a pair of old slippers, or agreeing to meet with his generals at night, wearing only his nightshirt. Though inclined not to like him, Lincoln's guest left bewitched. "I'm an officer under Buchanan," he told Irwin, "but I intend to vote for that man. I've been told that he was a foul and ugly man, but he's a man of good sense, familiar and honest. He is not an ugly man at all." Over time, the young man with the odd features grew into a statesman whose inner qualities became visible. His patience and his compassion, his sensitivity and his moral passion, his tenacity and his stubbornness. Lincoln's face took on the story of his times. The Civil War became reflected in it, and the coming end of slavery. In this way, Lincoln's face has always meant more to us than just a face. It's emblematic of the nation and of the cost of our democracy. We tend to deify Lincoln. He keeps seeming so much bigger than life. But it's important to remember how human he was. And looking at his photographs can remind us of this. There's that mole. There's that wandering eye. There's that messy hair, once clipped short in a crew cut. There he is, looking abstracted again. He's daydreaming. Lincoln's is a face that still matters to us all these years later. The backwoods toughness still visible, but transmuted by time and fate into a face of refined sensibleness, a sane face, an earnest face, a wise face, a human face. Thank you very much.
Mr. Philip Kunhardt III. On behalf of the Lincoln Society and Peekskill, I'm very pleased to present you with the Lincoln Legacy Award, and I need you to take it. It's very heavy. I would like to just read the description of this award. The Lincoln Legacy Award is the prestigious honor that is presented to an individual, group, institution, or organization that best exemplifies the extraordinary qualities that have historically been associated with Abraham Lincoln: service, courage, humor, and integrity. And this year's recipient is Mr. Philip Kunhardt III. And I think you proved yourself with that beautiful presentation.
Thank you, Jackie.
And thank you.
I think I went on a little long, and I think we're ready for dinner. So if that's all right with you, we'll move on with the evening. So thank you again for having me.